We have two questions here with directions factor completely. Now look closely. 1, 2, 3, 4. Both of these have 4 terms. The strategy for factoring quadratic expressions that have 4 terms is to group them. So for example, if we take the first 2 terms and group them together, look for the GCF and then factor it out, and then repeat it for the next 2 terms, we'll be able to factor this expression completely. First 2 terms has a common 4x in them. If I pull it out or factor it out, we'll be left with an x and a minus 2y. Next 2 terms, look really closely. The whole idea is to get an x minus 2y out of these last 2 terms, and I see a negative 3x. So just for fun, how about we pull out a negative 3, and if I do that, I'll be left with an x and a positive 6 divided by negative 3, or if I factor out the negative 3, leaves me with a negative 2y. And that's exactly what I wanted, because I wanted to be able to see that these 2 expressions are exactly the same. The whole idea is if they are the same, that's our new GCF. You pull it out and then you say, what's left over? If I pull it out, I'm left with a 4x for my first term. And if I pull it out, I'm left with the minus 3 for my second term. And that is the problem factored completely. Let's do one more real quick. This one again, group the first 2 terms together. The greatest common factor for the first 2 terms is 2x. If I pull it out, I'm left with 2x and a minus y. The next 2 terms, if I pull out looks like a negative 7 and a z, I'm left with a y and then something's crazy here, and then a minus 2x. Are these 2 expressions exactly the same? No, they're not. But if you notice, they only differ by a negative sign. The 2x is positive here, the 2x is negative there. The y is negative here, and the y is positive there. So let's rewrite this, but let's pull out a negative 1 from the second expression, or the second parentheses. If I pull out a negative 1, the 7 will become positive. If I pull out a negative 1, I'll have a negative y and then a positive 2x. And that might look a little different than this first parentheses, but they're exactly the same. They're just written backwards. So that is our new greatest common factor. Rewriting it as 2x minus y. If I pull that out of both this term and that term, I'm left with 2x from the first term, and then a plus 7, that's a 7, pretend with me, plus 7z from the second term. And let me just erase that just to make it look a little bit more official. Plus 7z, and that is our final answer.